Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of yet another pair of truly wireless earbuds. These have gotten pretty popular recently, and these retail for $50 on Amazon. They resemble the Apple AirPods to a high extent, even to the case that it comes with, which you use to charge, although there are a few differences in how the LEDs are integrated onto the surface of these, which tells you the status of the battery when it's charging and when it's running low. So true wireless earbuds obviously don't have any wires at all connecting the left and right stereo channels, and as a whole, it gives you more mobility and freedom to move and to exercise when you're listening to music or answering a phone call, since there is a microphone on board. It uses Bluetooth version 4.2 to connect to an Android or iOS phone and has a connection range of roughly 10 meters or 33 feet. Now you can see that the battery charges up in under 1.5 hours. There is a battery integrated into the case, like the AirPods, so you can have an additional charge when on the go, although a downside of these is the battery life is slightly shorter. It's less than 3 hours, so you do have to charge it a bit more when it runs out of juice than you would on a larger over-the-ear style Bluetooth headphones, for instance. So there's an instruction manual on the packaging, and there's also the case with the AirPod-esque headphones, which we'll take a closer look at, and that's essentially it. There's a standard micro USB cable for charging that is included. So taking a quick look at the case, it's made out of this polycarbonate plastic and acrylic kind of plastic shell on the top. If we have something similar, maybe standard Apple earphones, you can see that the casing is very similar as far as the styling and the material choices that are used. So again, a lot of attention and design elements that have definitely been taken from Apple, and that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's fairly elegant and compact, easy to take with you. You'll notice that none of the ports are covered up by rubber, so these aren't waterproof, so make sure you don't take them when showering or for a swim, and you should be fine. One thing I don't really love about this case, though, is that the top here is closed just using a mechanical switch as opposed to a magnetic one, and that means it may be a little bit more difficult to open and close this than something that snaps onto place using magnets. You can see that's motion activated, so when you kind of shake on it, it starts the charging automatically and kind of detects in a few seconds if it needs to be charged up. When the LEDs are blue, it means that it's fully charged, and when it's red, it means that it's still charging. There's also small LEDs on the bottom of the case that gives you a quick flash to tell you, when it's charging, and when it's blue, it means that they are fully charged. So let's take them out of the box. You can see that the charging part is very simple. Just snap into place, drop it down, and there are no problems as far as the contact pins and the alignment process. Setting the case off to the side and taking a closer look at these earphones, they are very lightweight, and they're made out of the same plastic material that's built from the case. So design-wise, they are a little chubbier than the original Apple AirPods. The stem here is definitely wider, and theoretically that gives you more room for a longer battery, but still it's not rated at 6 hours or 7 hours like more traditional Bluetooth earphones or headphones on the market. There are definitely more complications with true wireless earbuds, which a year or two ago was still at its infancy in terms of development, just because not only do these have to be wireless and connected to your phone, but they have to communicate to each other in terms of syncing up the music. And in earlier generation models, a problem we encountered was if you're using these to watch videos that are super demanding and action films, sometimes there would be a slight delay between the syncing process, which wouldn't be as ideal as wired headphones, for example. They're also not audiophile grade, so if you are a audio head, you want to listen to really premium hi-fi music, then these in general don't tend to deliver as much richness just because you sacrifice that quality for a bit more of that wireless and kind of cool factor that you see. But now we're on its second generation model, and some of these bugs have been processed and they have been improved upon. So if we take a closer look here, the bottom here features microphones, so there's a bit of sound reduction if you are using these for answering a phone call, and you would simply tap on the key once to answer or reject a call. However, just like the Apple AirPods, there aren't any physical keys that you may see for changing things like the volume or skipping tracks when you're listening to music. There isn't an inline remote, just like other true wireless earphones we've seen in the past. Otherwise, they're pretty comfortable, but you can see that the design of the heads here are also very, very similar to the AirPods and latest generation of Apple earbuds on the market. They are pretty snug and they have a rather ergonomic fit, although there are no rubber accents, so they don't tend to stay in place super well if you're always shaking your head or doing vigorous exercising. Regardless, you can see the sound comes out at an angle, which is pretty interesting, and it produces definitely a good amount of volume when you're listening to your music. And in my case, they stayed in place fairly well, just like the Apple EarPods, without really dropping out of my ears. So that was good. The bottom just features the contact pins for charging, and overall it's a very clean design. When you're ready, you simply need to tap on one of these things, turn it on, and then pair it using your phone. You can tap and hold for a few seconds longer until it starts flashing red and blue. That means it's entered the pairing mode. Once you've successfully paired one of these with your phone, you can then power on the other earphone, and it will wirelessly sync with the other bud. It's pretty hassle-free. There isn't really that much, again, like a delay between the syncing process, which was pleasant, and there are really no complications that I experienced. Once it's connected and paired with a phone, it stayed connected, and even if I turn the Bluetooth on the phone off, or I turn these off and then back on, they repaired without any hassles either. When it came to connectivity and range, indeed I got roughly 10 meters or 33 feet in my testing with an Android device, so the distance seemed to be alright. If I stretched that distance a little bit, or if I was listening to music and my phone was in a different room and there were walls separating the rooms, sometimes there would be a little bit more static and you could hear some distortion in the music, but it was still pretty decent. When it comes to the audio quality, these don't have the most bass and lower frequencies, so if you're expecting really thumping sound, then you won't find that here. But then again, these are fairly low-cost earphones to begin with, and since they are truly wireless too, you can't expect that hi-fi grade audio experience. However, it does still suffice for, again, pop music, electronic music, various genres that you might want to throw at it. It's definitely not the crystal clear audio experience that you would find on more expensive headphones. Most of those will be wired as opposed to wireless, but for truly wireless earphones, they sound actually pretty good from the 4 or 5 sets that I've tested so far. When it comes to the audio quality, when you're talking through these and using these as a Bluetooth headset, it also worked quite well. I did a few sample calls outdoors where there was a bit of ambient sound, and the microphones on here did a good job of canceling out those noises. So the caller still could hear my voice without any problems, and again, connection to the phone when it's on your body is very good, and there were no real issues as far as doing a few speakerphone calls, despite the fact that there's quite a long distance between the microphone and your mouth, since these are still relatively small and compact earbuds at the end of the day. Again, very intuitive and easy to use. When you're done with it, you can simply power it off, and you can see that once one of it is powered off, the other one also turns off automatically to save on battery. The LED colors make sense, and there's also voice commands spoken in fairly proper English that tell you when it's on, when it's off, when it's connecting. That makes the entire process a bit more intuitive. So all in all, I have to say that these are not bad TWS truly wireless earphones at all. They work mostly as advertised, and for 50 bucks, it's obviously a fraction of a real Apple AirPods. Audio quality obviously won't be quite as crisp or nice, and it's not quite as feature-rich either in terms of all the things that it can do. But out of the low-cost TWS earbuds I've seen on the market, these actually are pretty good. Sound quality is nice. The battery case works well for adding some extra juice on the go, although a few cons still remain. One of those being that the battery life on per charge is still a little bit low at under 3 hours of music playtime before they run out of juice. The other one being that there is still a slight bit of distortion or static in terms of the audio clarity. They still aren't the best in the world, and arguably there are better options if you only care about sound quality if you look for a traditional pair of earphones. But again, you're picking these up if you're looking for mobility, for portability, so you can check out more details about these in our official written review. But again, these TWS earphones are mainly designed for mobility over hi-fi audiophile grade sound quality, and that's a general trend in general, and these fall right into that square category. So you can check out more details soon, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. These have been a closer look at a Apple AirPods inspired low-cost sub $50 TWS earphones.